Economic development is important in greater Minnesota cities to help maintain our way of life and certainly the vitality in our communities. And the quality of life starts with employment. Staff, elected officials, and others in smaller communities in greater Minnesota may be miles and miles away from St. Paul, and you want to be involved in how you grow your community. You want to be involved in legislation and other policies, and the way we can do that is through being members of associations. Certainly, like in our case, we're members of Coalition Greater Minnesota Cities and Minnesota League of Cities. But that really opens up the main point, which is communication. And you need to have communication not only with the people in your community, but the people in your county, people in your school district, certainly with your legislators. And so how you do that, you can do it through advocacy, you can do it through education, you can do it through one-on-one communication, you can work with your legislators when they're home in their district, or you can come to St. Paul, but we've got email, we've got a number of different ways of contacting those legislators. Some advocacy work that has borne some fruit was an activity that we did with the League of Minnesota Cities, Coalition Greater Minnesota Cities, Metro Cities, Move Minnesota, and a number of other partners, was when we got some funding from the last legislative session, not this last year but the prior year, on some dollars for small cities. Small cities that don't participate in the gas tax distribution, cities are under 5,000 like Windom, we don't get anything from the gas tax. But there were some dollars put in a fund for a one-time expenditure that helped those cities such as ours, and we use the dollars for seal coating, which maintains our streets and helps prolong the life. One other area that we've worked on in Windom is advocacy for broadband, and we're somewhat of a poster child for that sometimes because Windom did develop its own municipal broadband system back in 2005-2006. And so we've had it for about 10 years. So we've worked with other communities, we've reached out to other groups, advocacy groups, community groups, legislative groups, and have talked about our experience. But through that advocacy and that communication, we've had a partnership with 8 other surrounding communities that wanted to get broadband into their communities. A lot of the economic development activities that we've talked about for our community and other communities in Minnesota wouldn't be possible without the partnerships and the collaborations that we've discussed. And a big thank you to the legislature, to the state of Minnesota for working with communities. Certainly we want to thank our advocacy groups and for their participation and their roles of bringing people together and fostering those discussions. But it's really through the work of everybody that we're successful.